We are live streaming. Awesome.
You could just see me on here.
We can see you on there. I'm looking at it right now.
It still shows we're live streaming, right?
Yeah, it's showing that we're live.
Cool. All right. Man,
thanks, Charles.
This is unique. Let me make sure I can assign you the co-host or the host and whatnot. Hopefully it doesn't cancel me out.
No, it shouldn't.
Make host. Make host.
And we're still live on YouTube, so didn't mess with that.
All right, cool. I'm out.
Awesome. Bye.
Enjoy, man.
All right, awesome. Hey, how are you, Marcel? What's going on?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm actually really excited about this interview. So real quick, before we get started, what is going on, everybody? Hold on one second. This is Michelle Welch here with the Millionaire podcast. Today we have Marcel Benson from Benson Watch. And I'm so excited about this particular interview because I did my research and you have, you raised money. You have some beautiful watches. I was like that pink one, like your pink United collection. Like, I'm just so excited. So give us the front story, how you got started, what was the inspiration, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate what you guys are doing. But the watches came about simply out of my passion for timepieces. I got my first watch when I was about 7 years old. Like, my mom gifted it to me for Christmas. I wore it every day. And then for years to come, I just started collecting watches. People were getting like sneakers, where I'm from. I was the one that was spending all my money on watches. But being the first generation, college student in my family, my parents were just big on just go to school, do well, get a good job, particularly in the government or some corporation that is consistent, and then go and retire. And I kind of bought into that, to that idea. I went down to Morehouse, graduated, with a business degree, and then I went off to work in consulting for a little bit, like a few years. But during that time, I'm making good money. I'm able to travel. I'm able to, have a nice little car. I'm driving around, clean. And I realized that I still wasn't fulfilled. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel like this is all that life had to offer. So, I kind of just started reflecting on my life. I'm just I started looking at the people in my job, and, because it's, that's kind of an indication of where you'll end up. Yeah. And I just really wasn't impressed, and I not to sound like, elite or anything like that, but I knew that there was more to life than just coming to work, taking lunch breaks, taking occasional vacations, and, and talking about a bunch of stuff that I didn't really care about. So I just decided to go for it one day. And it wasn't even like I, completely, planned for it or anything like that. I got up out of my cubicle. I walked to HR, and I was just like, I appreciate you guys having me, but I can no longer do this. And I resigned right there. And yeah, and it wasn't necessarily like an easy run, but I knew I had made the right decision. Like, I knew I had a lot of work ahead of me and a lot of evolution that had to take place within me, but I was ready for it. And that's exactly what happened. Like, I quit, and then I was met with a bunch of adversity, but I'm pretty sure we'll get into that a little later.
Definitely. I mean, you quoted the traditional life path. I think for a lot of people, that's what they think, that's what they go through. So is that how you were raised in your household? Entrepreneurship didn't play a role? Was it really like that traditional college, school, right, all that?
Yeah. You just gotta, when you just think about, and when I say traditional, I'm just talking about purely numbers, right? If you look at the numbers, there's more people in jobs than there are that own the businesses.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at anything, there's usually a vast majority of people doing something. And how they always say majority rules, and we have little cliches like that. In my reality, what I started to learn over the years is that the majority really doesn't rule. the majority is what you want to kind of like stay away from, because that's really what's like kind of like keeping you from doing anything great or reaching your potential. So in my household, like, I didn't come from we didn't really have a ton of money growing up, but I did have a loving family, which is something that I always, brag about. My parents did love me. And I think that really, like helped me kind of build this confidence that I could do, I could do whatever I wanted to do. So
that's so dope. So you were in Forbes, you were in New York Times, the top watch brand. So how has your life changed from, leaving the cubicle to starting this up to like at this point? What has that progressive change look like?
It hasn't been easy. It's been what it looks like. It's beautiful, right? Like, I'm extremely proud of myself, and I'm extremely happy with how things are continuing to shape up, because I'll continue to evolve, but it's great that I decided to say yes to myself, because oftentimes we all get these like these gut feelings, these things that we want to do, and we somehow convince ourselves that it's not for us, as if somebody else is better, right? So we kind of stay where we are, we shy away from it, we procrastinate, and then there are people that just go ahead and do all those things that you wish you would have done. And I'm just glad that I decided to do that, because now I'm able to reflect. I even still keep in contact with some friends that were at work, people that were actually my senior. Like I had a manager at the time who I was looking to be like. Like, I was just like, man, if I could just get that much money, like, things would really, maybe things would change a little bit. And now she's reaching out, kind of like seeking advice on how to get things started in entrepreneurship. And not to like say that one is better than the other, but it's really just to like bring light to the fact that there's so many people that want to do something, but they settle for something else in the meantime. And I think that my purpose is to just show as many normal people as possible that there's another side. Literally, you just making a decision.
Exactly.
So it's special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything is about choices, and that's how I got into entrepreneurship 5 years ago. I literally was like, I'm not doing this anymore, and I just walked away. And for me, like, I'm a risky person. Like, I don't mind doing the work, and I'm a mom, so I had a bigger purpose behind everything. So I definitely feel you on that level. But earlier you mentioned you reached a lot of adversities getting into your industry. Like, what were some of those things that you faced?
Yeah, so I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me, but I had this like idea that I would just start a company and then just go straight to being rich. And I didn't know like that there was this process of like learning the business and learning yourself and making mistakes along the way, and how your business can impact your personal, and your personal can impact your business. And I didn't really, grasp that. Like, there are certain things that you have to kind of like learn through experience and not in theory. So just for instance, like, I started the company, I didn't have a ton of money saved up. I started realizing like, wow, it's hard to really pay yourself until you're making, at least like 5 to 10 times like what you're paying yourself. And, that became an issue. Like, I wound up, going into like a lot of debt, charging up credit cards and just doing all types of stuff. And I also made a few mistakes in like choosing my manufacturer, lost out on a lot of money because I just wasn't, savvy enough, didn't necessarily have somebody, like kind of to point me in the right direction. But over time, I got it together. I was able to identify what some of those issues were. The biggest thing was really just me. It was just a lot of changing that I had to do individually, spiritually, and just kind of like on a maturity level. And, once I leaned into that and accepted that I was like the common denominator in a lot of the stuff that was going wrong, I decided to, to just lean into it, accept it, go through the hard stuff, and you know, just kept believing that there was something, you know, better on the other side.
I love that. So that is what we call people accountability. You took accountability. And I say it like that because I feel like in our community, that's one really big thing that we lack. We don't always necessarily like to step up in the spaces where we know that we could do better or be better. So I'm glad you identified, but also that you were able to adjust and pivot and change and learn. And you know, we have to fail our way to success. So I think you definitely did a great job with keeping your head up and going forward. But for you going through all of those things, you know, charging up credit cards and things like that, now giving someone advice that would get started, what are some essential things that are needed, do you feel, or what knowledge should be known before getting into the watch industry?
I would absolutely say, and I'm sorry, I'm reaching this.
No,
Focus on
you're fine.
the charger. But I would absolutely say getting to know yourself first and foremost, because you know, I could say something generic like, oh, just, you know, study the industry, or, you know, save your money, or like have a good credit score. And these are all things that are real, right? Like you should have a good credit score, because you know, your bootstrap is not going to take you to where you want to go. That's just a reality. You know, I mean, unless where you want to go is not, you know, super high numbers. But if you really want to, you know, build a you know, a large company, a multi-million-dollar, you know, brand, like there's going to have to be OPM involved, other people's money involved.
Yeah.
You know, whether that's bank loans, investment, whatever. Yeah, just to save people the time, because it just takes money. That's just bottom line. But more than anything, is understanding yourself. Is really digging into yourself, because I don't speak from a perspective of just being successful, right, and just having money. I speak from a perspective of just holistic success, right? It's the reason I left my job, right? Because if success was the only thing, I was fine making what I made in corporate. I went to school, I did what was right? But it's more to life, and I think a lot of that comes from when you're doing something that you actually care about, you actually love, and you have a better understanding of yourself. Like, you know, we spent a ton of time away from ourselves, family, work, you know, doing miscellaneous things. And then we get into a point where we just perpetually accept our life as it is, instead of, you know, asking ourselves, like, who am I? What do I want? What gets me going? What makes me feel alive? So I think just really cultivating like a strong relationship with yourself is the most important thing that any budding entrepreneur can do, because that's really where you're going to get your answers from. Like, I honestly can't tell you like objective things to you know, to do that will equal your success. And I think you should also be leery when there's a ton of like, you should do this, you should do that. Like, I think good advice is when you get somebody to recognize something in themselves, and you get them to start, you know, answering questions about themselves, and they ultimately discover, you know, what it is that they need to be doing or should be doing, you know, to get to that next level, because they, you know, the answers really lie, you know, within you.
I'm just so obsessed with that answer. And the reason why is because when you cancel out all the noise, when you firmly believe in yourself, the answers are already there. You have that clarity. So I love that answer, because you touched on the fact, like, yes, it's great to have mentors and people that pour into you, but your own voice should be louder than all of that. And
Absolutely.
And it just, you put it so beautifully said. And I love the holistic success, and like the way that you look at entrepreneurship in such a spiritual way. It's really beautiful. So I love that. And I'm just really curious though. Your watches are so beautiful. Like, I love how timeless they look. They look super expensive. How did you come to your price points? Because not for nothing, like for me, that's a great price. I'm over here like, listen, you can get my point. So how did you find that point?
I truly appreciate that. So for me, this whole idea of my pricing goes back to when I was younger, right? You know, I told you, like, I got my first watch when I was 7, and I'm collecting all these watches, but I'm like, damn, like all the watches that I love, you know, like, I don't know if I had expensive taste or what, but every watch that I love was like through the roof with the pricing. And I just couldn't understand. I was like, wow, why can't there be like, you know, good design and timeless design at a more affordable price point. Like there has to be some way, you know, to do that. And then as I started, you know, learning more about watches and understanding that, you know, it was really like about like the complications and the movements and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, okay, well, that's the compromise. Like we could offer different movements, but really still maintain that aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know, for the people that are getting it for fashion, because that's really what people are doing it for now. I mean, like you have some people that are like super sophisticated and buy watches for, you know, the movement, and I respect that too. I'm a collector in that way too, but it's the aesthetic. You know, the aesthetic is really, you know, what people love. Just like having something they can go out in, you know, something that's going to make them feel good, you know, about themselves. So, you know, we were able to do that. We were able to negotiate some really good prices with our manufacturer, and yeah, we offer, you know, some of the greatest prices on the market for the quality. So beyond, you know, beyond the watch that you see online, like, you know, go look at some of those reviews. Go talk to a
listen. I did my research. I looked. I was like, okay.
Talk to a random customer. You'll see that the quality is there too. So yeah, I was thinking about that little kid in me, that, you know, that boy that was, you know, getting all these pieces, or that wanted all these pieces but couldn't get them. So I was like, I want to be that to somebody else, like create something that's dope, but, you know, you could afford it.
Listen, when I get mine, I'm gonna be at the bar. Yes, you see Benny. You see Benny. Yes, like I love it. So
Gotta have a Benny.
I think, yes. I love that you coined that name. Like, that's just so adorable. Like, so you have on your website, become an investor. So I clicked on the link and I was like, oh, what's this? And you raised $396,000.
Yep.
So how, like, I'm still a little baffled. Like, other people just like, it was like crowdfunding. Like what was that?
Yeah. So and we're not done. We're actually going to be doing 2 more rounds.
Oh, wow.
Because we're raising a total of $5 million. But the way that crowdfunding works is that, you know, there's like a seed round, and then, you know, there's certain like financial requirements that you have to meet in order to be able to raise a certain amount. So we've done enough to raise the $1,070,000. So we raised the 400,000. We're getting ready to raise, you know, another amount like in the second half of this month. Actually starting on the I think the 19th, and it's going to be like a 2-week window for raising, and then we'll do another big raise next year.
Okay, that's really, really cool.
But yeah, the crowdfunding, you know, it provides like everybody the opportunity to invest. You know, typically, you know, people think about banks or like venture capital, but this is the what I would call the best option for both parties, right? Because on the business side, you're not obligated to repaying this on a monthly or weekly basis like other capital, right? So you get to still maintain your cash flow, and then the benefit for the you know, for the investors, they get to get in at a lower price. Like, so, you know, you can invest with $250 if you want to, and then there's a mutual agreement that their money is returned with, you know, with whatever growth when a liquidity event takes place. So that's either, you know, like, you know, the company going public, a large investor coming in and buying out everybody at a profit, or, you know, the company being sold to another company. So, so we're on the track of eventually doing an acquisition down the road, in which I still maintain control of the company, but there would be a buyout so that everyone who invested would get their money, you know, times 6 or 7, maybe even more, depending on what the exit price is.
That is so dope. Talk about giving back to the community in such a creative, different way that benefits, like you said, benefits both parties. So the cool part about having a dope watch brand, I saw that you have some celebrity customers. How did you get to that level of having celebrities with your products?
Honestly, I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, well, I was talking to this. It's honestly like, and this goes back to what we were talking about earlier about listening to the voice in your head. There's just something very powerful about this universe, you know, God, whatever you call, you know, your creator, that literally just creates situations that align with you being in alignment with who you are. So when you decide to do something, you say that this is what I want to do, this is what I feel is my purpose, like the universe will just send things in a way that, that you can't even imagine. And I'm gonna tell you why I know this is the case, right? Because this is proven. This is not just some woo-woo stuff, right? When I was in a space where I was not doing that, I had access to celebrities. I was reaching out to celebrities. I was talking to celebrities, asking them like, yeah, just trying like real choose me energy, right? Just trying to get them to be a part of what I was doing. And it wasn't working. Like I would get some yeses, some, and it would always fall through. Something just wasn't working. But when I decided to just double down on myself and like, just really just started like creating something from my heart, you know what I mean? Like not just doing something for a quick buck or whatever, but just really doing what I wanted to do. It's like, it's almost like this magical thing where people can feel that. And now like people reach out to me. Every celebrity that you've seen, wear my watch, every celebrity that's trying to do, some sort of like collaboration, they reached out to me. I haven't reached out to anybody in like 3 years. Like I don't reach out to people. And that's, that's like I said, it's not to make myself feel like I'm like higher or better. It's really just because like, I'm just focused on what I'm doing. And if you want to be a part of that, then we can have a conversation about that. But it's, that's really the game changer. That's really how you call bigger and better things into your life, is just by focusing on yourself and knowing that you're, like you're worthy of everything that you desire.
No, that is just, I'm for all of that. And I firmly believe in that. Well, and it's like, it's so refreshing to see people with that type of mindset. It's just when you really focus on you, focus on the love, focus on what you're able to provide for yourself that will elude, everything just flows in, and you have to believe in that. And I'm a big person where I'm like, I believe in me. If you don't believe in me, I don't know what to tell you. Like,
that's it.
So you also spoke in Germany in 2020 at I'm guessing a watch convention, right? How was that?
It was a very interesting experience, and it also just let me know that I had a lot of work to do when I got back here. Because like I said, I kind of see myself as like that person that's like, not afraid to be the first to do something, right? That pioneer kind of mindset. So I was invited. This is also something that was an invitation. Like I didn't know a single soul in Germany, but somehow the person that was putting on this conference, because like Inhorgenta is the second largest watch conference in the world. The first largest is Basel World, which takes place in Switzerland. The guy reached out to me. He's just like, I've been following your company, for a long time. I love the story. I love what you do. Would you be interested in coming and, speaking, and then also like, teaching a class at this seminar or this conference? And I was just like, sure. So when I got out there, it was actually in the height of the pandemic. This is like 2020, 2021.
Yeah, that's why I was so curious about it. I'm like, sir.
Yeah. Like I had to get special permission. They had to give, they wrote me special permission to even travel to the country. And like, I'm in the airport. There's nobody in the airport. Like I'm on a plane with like 5 people.
Oh my God.
And I get there at the conference, and there's, CEOs of companies that are like, like Longines, like some of these like huge watch companies that I used to admire and love growing up. And I'm right here with them, like being interviewed and giving a talk. And I was literally the only Black person in the entire building. And it just made me realize like, wow, like, so one, like you're on the right path. This is an opportunity for you to do something. And I decided to like use that time, because we were on like German television too. I decided to use that time to really speak about like like representation in the watch world. Like there's literally 0 watch companies that have ever had an acquisition that are Black. There's 0 watch companies that you think about when you think about watches, right? Like you don't think about a Black. You can't name a Black. I mean, there are Black-owned watch companies, right? But you can't name one internationally that people are like, oh yeah, that one. So it just really made me realize that there was a lot of work to be done, and that it's important that while I'm young and energetic, that I take on this mission of like opening the doors for anybody else that may want to come through and do something similar. So
That is so awesome. I just love how you're just so pro us and getting us
Yeah.
in that space. And you're right. I don't think I know personally, a Black owned watch company. I think I know like a normal, I guess not normal, but regular ones, but nothing big like that. So I think that's really dope that you're taking on in that space. So if somebody wanted to get into the industry, I know that you said, be aligned with yourself, but on the industry side, you said that you had some issues starting off with the manufacturers. What are things to look for that are red flags?
Yeah, so this is interesting because this is actually going to help me think, because I'm giving a speech at Amazon on this exact thing on the 21st.
Ooh, congratulations!
Thank you. It's about
that in there real quick.
Yeah, it's about sourcing and manufacturing. So this is perfect. It's really important to like just pull yourself into your industry, like make the contacts, but also really like do the homework of the industry, right? Like do the research, like who was there before you, like really know everything you can about the industry. And then beyond that, like have somewhat of a checklist for how you go about finding a manufacturer. Like the reason that I lost money early on is because I was just so eager to find a manufacturer, when in reality, all you got to do is really you can kind of weed out like the bad ones by how they like accept payment, because the manufacturer that I dealt with took the money, basically made some samples, took the money, but never delivered the actual order. And I had no recourse because they didn't accept payment on any platforms like Alibaba or PayPal or anything like that.
Yeah.
So all they had was my money. And the amount of money that it costs to fight something internationally, you're gonna spend more money anyway. So definitely just like understanding, like what constitutes like a legitimate manufacturer. That's the first place to start. And then getting somebody that's like on the ground there, understanding there's a language barrier typically when you're trying to like, manufacture somewhere overseas. And you need somebody that's on the ground and understands like how to communicate and negotiate, because if you're not doing that, you're going to wind up getting like the highest prices, which will ultimately like impact your margins and stuff like that. So definitely just doing as much homework as possible, on the industry manufacturers, taking the visit there yourself if you can. You can have representation, but there's nothing that beats you, meeting the manufacturer face to face, shaking hands, and going over your expectations. So yeah, that'd be the advice I give for like breaking into on that front.
I like that. Definitely hands-on approach always. And I think that always works best as well, especially for your long-term investment. So I have a question. I am a high productivity and time management coach. I love time management. It's like my passion, teaching high performing entrepreneurs how to manage their time. So for you, you're a man in an industry that's about time. How do you manage your time?
That's a really good question. And I may have to holler at you later, because that's something that I do like need help in, because
we found each other. Here we are.
Listen,
time
like
management.
I do so many things in the course of a day, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm the best manager of my time. Like I think one thing that I do in the morning is I have like a routine where like I meditate. I listen to some music that I like, and just kind of like sit outside and just kind of like take in the air or whatever. So that's the time that I have like reserved for myself. But then like the moment I get to to the office, like it's just like it's pretty much anybody's day, because so many things are happening.
He said anybody's day.
But I'm trying to get better at that. So I can't even sit here and give anybody advice on it, because I'm trying to get better at how I manage my time. Like I'm learning, especially as we grow, that certain things are just not as important. Like it's not like I have like a social media problem or anything like that. Like my issue is just like I want to do so many things.
Yeah.
I want to give so much to the world, and sometimes it just I kind of stretch myself a little too thin sometimes. So I'm just trying to get better at maybe delegating some, certain
Yes.
tasks to, to other people, getting certain things off my plate, not being a perfectionist in certain areas.
No, that's dope. I will definitely reach out to you after. I have a time management course and like I'm heavy in it. I love it because when you can master your minutes, you can master millions,
That's
and
awesome. I like that.
I do a lot. I have kids, I have a nonprofit, I have multiple businesses. So I've been doing it for 5 years and I've been able to accomplish so much because I manage my time like effortlessly. And it's not something, time management is not something that you kind of attain overnight. It's a gradual process, the way you have habits and routines. So there is hope for you. Okay. Don't worry, because you said you established a routine. That's what it all starts with. It starts with that initial routine. So what does wealth mean to you?
Wealth. To me, wealth is, obviously monetary, right? I won't pretend that money is not super important in our lives, living where we live. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I'm holistic in everything I do, right? It's like it's never just about one thing. Whenever you're hyper focused on one thing, like your life, begins to get out of balance. Uh-huh. So I look at wealth as like it's not just about money, but it's what happens as a result of money, right? So to me, a wealthy person is firstly they're healthy, right? In addition to health, they're happy. Their family loves them. They love their family, and they're doing what it is that they love to do. To me, that's living like an honest life and a fulfilled life, right? Like I've met people of all kinds, people with money that I wish I had, right? Like I'm talking about, they 100, 200 M's they sitting on, but like truly are not happy, right? Truly like, have issues within their family, like kids estranged, things like that, right? Like, I've always been the person that just respected people who made time for their loved ones and their family, right? Like I know things can get busy during certain periods of your life, but ultimately for me, it's really to just have, like I said, a family that I can love on, that loves me. I'm healthy, like I'm still able to I'm still energetic. I'm still able to move around like I please. And honestly, being able to do this, which is something that is of great importance to me. Like I got on a sweatsuit right now, you know what I mean? And I've always envisioned being a person that, that had a lot of money and was able to really just show up as myself and comfortably. So I really like would kind of lump that in there as well. It's like being able to show up as yourself.
Yes.
That's wealthy to me. Like not having to put on for anybody. I don't got to throw a suit on to make somebody think that I'm worth whatever we're negotiating or talking about. I can really just show up, hair looking like whatever, and in a sweatsuit, but still be felt in a respectable way.
I love that authenticity. That's what people like nowadays, and I don't think as entrepreneurs we understand like the power of being authentic and transparent with people. Bust down rollies are cool, cars are great, but that's not what we're here for. We have to remember what the ultimate goal is. So what are like 2 books that you like that you love? What are 2 books that you kind of like would recommend for someone to read right now?
It's so funny because I literally have the 2 books right here. And I didn't even know you were gonna ask me that, but I keep these 2 books right here because I reference them so much because they mean like so much to me. But I'll start off with this one. This one is called Range. Yeah, by David Epstein.
Okay, I like him.
Yeah. This book is so good because it gets into something that we're taught against. Some people will say like focus on one thing, do it your whole life or whatever. But we're like Pharrell said one time, we're pluralists, right? Like we're people that have multiple passions, and you only figure that out by getting to know yourself better. But in one season of your life, you may love one thing, and then in another season, like something else may take like a greater precedence, and you grow like closer to that thing. But it just talks about how we can do a ton of things in our life. Like we're not identified by the things we do, but like who we are. So you can be that person that you are. If you're a person that has loving energy, inspirational energy, you can be that in any, any field.
I love that. I'm definitely gonna check into that one. And what's the second one?
And then this one is this is the sauce, right? This is a secret sauce right here.
A happy pocket full of money.
It's called a happy pocket full of money. I promise you, anybody that's watching this, I promise you this will change your life. Infinite
wealth and abundance. Is in the here and now. Oof.
Right. So here's the secret. The title is what gets people to purchase it because everybody likes money, right? Yeah. But when you read the book, you realize that it's not even about money.
I figured it was one of those plot twists.
It's a really good book. I would recommend it to anybody at any stage in life.
I love the word abundance. I love manifesting. I love affirmations. So, and I asked this question because, I'm done with my book. So I need a new book. And I love to see what y'all like to read because listen, it gets kind of weird out here in these book streets.
Yeah.
So, but, oh my gosh, this was such an amazing interview. We got so many good key points down. You poured so much into us, but one last question. What can we expect next? What's happening? What's coming up next?
Wow, so many things. So we've implemented a new segment to the company called Exclusive Drops. So we have a segment of the company where we're releasing, like pieces that are only on sale for like a day, and then they go away forever. I think this might be one of them right here. Yeah, this. So you're getting an exclusive because this hasn't even been shown to the public, but this is one of the pieces that's going to be released, and it's like 50 of them. So I'm
gonna have to sign up for the subscriber list, right?
Absolutely, you gotta be on the list. Like our last one that we did, it was a 100-piece collection. It sold out in 3 hours. So yeah, they go pretty quickly, but what it's done is it's really starting to create like a secondary market for for our customers, and that's actually something that we're going to implement. We're going to roll out is like an exchange or trading platform where Benson owners can come and buy and sell the pieces that they weren't able to get, right? So
that is so cool.
Yeah, so that's one thing. We have a couple of television opportunities that are pending. I can't really speak on the names of them right now because they have it's like under NDAs and all that stuff. But yeah, we will see you. Yeah, you'll see me. But it's been cool, so much. We'll be hiring more. We'll be raising again, like I said, later on this month. So many different things. We're opening up our LA location for pickup now. So anybody that's in LA that orders a watch can actually come into our facility.
Wait, when are you guys opening?
May 1st.
Okay, perfect. Because I'm coming. My birthday is June 9th, and I'm coming for 2 weeks to LA.
Oh, nice.
So
okay, you gotta come holler at us.
I'm coming to pick my watch up. No,
there we go.
Yes. That's so exciting. That's amazing. So everybody that viewed, I know that this is going to be an amazing episode, even for the playback. Marcel, let everybody know where we can find you, where we can get subscribed and updated.
Absolutely. Firstly, I say follow me on Instagram at Benson Watch. That's BENSON Watch. I say that because you'll get so much value from there. I'm on there. I'm sharing my story all the time. I'm sharing, just epiphanies I have, things that I love. And, you'll see the beautiful drops that we have. And then you could also, go to the website, if you like what you see. I always say it's important to kind of get to know somebody before you make a decision. But if you want to just get a watch and leave, that's cool. But I would much rather have you, as a follower, friend, fan, or part of what we call our Benny Collective, which is everybody that's just in the community. So, join the collective, follow me. I'd love to have you.
I want a Benny now, just so I could hashtag it. I got my Benny.
You got the Benny, man. You gotta have.
You're gonna see me in June. Don't worry. But Marcel, it was such a pleasure to have you. Thank you for giving us your time, your energy, and I know that this episode is probably one of my favorites so far. I love when we dig deep. You know, I'm a very
Yeah.
emotionally driven person. I'm a woman.
Absolutely.
And I related to so much that you said. So I needed this because now I'm about to go make a meal real quick. I'm
do it.
Inspired.
You feel me?
But definitely, we will definitely keep in touch, and anything that we can do over here to support you always, it's so much love. And once again,